Let me tell you something right now that might hurt your feelings. You say you love yourself. You post it online. You say it in the mirror. You tell your friends. But you don't. You really don't. Because if you truly loved yourself, you would not keep making the same choices that are destroying your life. You would not keep hitting snooze when you know you have dreams waiting on you. You would not keep scrolling through your phone at 2 a.m. when you have a purpose to fulfill. You would not keep eating the things that are killing you slowly. You would not keep surrounding yourself with people who drain every ounce of energy from your soul. You say you love yourself, but you treat yourself like you don't matter. And I'm here to tell you something that will change the way you see everything. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not restriction. Discipline is not about being hard on yourself. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. And until you understand that, you will keep living a life that is less than what you were created for. Now listen to me carefully. If you stay with me until the end of this message, something is going to shift inside of you. I'm not just going to give you motivation that fades by tomorrow morning. I'm going to give you a new way of seeing yourself. I'm going to show you why you've been stuck. I'm going to help you understand why every time you try to change, you fall back into the same patterns. And I'm going to give you something practical, something you can start doing today, right now, that will begin to transform your life from the inside out. But you have to commit to listening to the whole thing. Because if you click away halfway through, you're going to miss the part that was meant specifically for you. You're going to miss the breakthrough. And I don't want that for you. So do yourself a favor. Put your phone down. Turn off the distractions. Give yourself this moment, because this might be the moment everything changes. Let me tell you about someone. Let me tell you about a person who might remind you of yourself. This person wakes up every single morning with a heavy feeling in their chest. Not because something terrible happened the night before. Not because they lost their job or went through a breakup. But because they know, deep down in their gut, that they are not living the life they were meant to live. And that feeling, that quiet, persistent ache of knowing you're capable of more but doing nothing about it, that is one of the most painful feelings a human being can experience. This person has goals. Oh, they have goals. They've written them down in journals that are sitting in a drawer somewhere. They've made vision boards. They've watched hundreds of motivational videos. They've told their friends, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to get in shape. This is the year I'm going to start that business. This is the year I'm going to finally get my life together. And they mean it. Every single time they say it, they mean it with every fiber of their being. But then Monday comes, and the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. like they planned. And they look at that alarm, and they feel the warmth of the blanket, and they think, just 5 more minutes. And 5 minutes turns into 30. 30 turns into an hour. And by the time they finally get up, the guilt has already set in. They look in the mirror and they see disappointment staring back at them. Not from anyone else, from themselves. And they think, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just do what I say I'm going to do? Why am I like this? And they go through the day carrying that weight. They go to work or they go to school or they sit at home and they put on a face. They smile. They laugh at jokes. They act like everything is fine. But inside there's a war going on. A war between who they are and who they know they could be. Be honest with me right now. Have you ever felt like this? Have you ever looked at your own life and felt like a stranger in it? Have you ever gone to bed at night and replayed the day in your head, knowing you wasted it, knowing you could have done more, knowing you let yourself down again? You know that feeling, right? That feeling of being your own biggest obstacle. That feeling of standing in your own way. That feeling of knowing exactly what you need to do, but being completely unable to make yourself do it. That's not laziness. That's not weakness. That's a disconnection from yourself. That's what happens when you've spent so long neglecting your own potential that you've forgotten what it feels like to fight for yourself. This person I'm telling you about, they hit a point where they couldn't take it anymore. It wasn't one big dramatic moment. It wasn't a car accident or a health scare or a public failure. It was a quiet Tuesday evening. They were sitting on their couch, eating food they didn't even want, watching something they didn't even care about, and they just stopped. They just froze. And they looked around their life and they realized something terrifying. They realized that if nothing changed, this was it. This was going to be their life. Day after day after day. The same routine, the same excuses, the same disappointment. They would grow older, but they would not grow. They would add years to their life, but not life to their years. And in that moment, something broke open inside them. Not in a destructive way, in a liberating way. Because sometimes you have to reach the point where the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing. They asked themselves a question that changed everything. They said, if I truly loved myself, what would I do differently right now? And they sat with that question. They didn't rush to answer it. They let it sit in the room with them. And the answer that came was not comfortable. The answer was not easy. The answer was discipline. The answer was doing the things they didn't want to do. The answer was saying no to the things that felt good in the moment but were stealing their future. The answer was choosing themselves, not the version of themselves that wanted comfort, but the version of themselves that wanted greatness. And that's where the shift happened. They stopped seeing discipline as a cage and started seeing it as a key. They stopped seeing discipline as something that was being done to them and started seeing it as something they were doing for themselves. They realized that every time they chose discipline, they were saying, I love myself enough to give myself a better future. Every time they chose to wake up early, they were saying, my dreams matter. Every time they chose to eat right, they were saying, my body deserves respect. Every time they chose to work on their goals instead of wasting time, they were saying, I believe in my potential. If you're still here listening to this, I want you to type, I'm still here in the comments right now. Because the fact that you're still listening tells me something about you. It tells me that there's a part of you that is hungry. There's a part of you that is tired of the cycle. There's a part of you that wants more. And I need you to acknowledge that part. I need you to give it a voice. Because that part of you is the reason you clicked on this video. That part of you is the reason you're still here. And that part of you is the part that is going to carry you through the transformation that is about to happen in your life. Now let's talk about what people get wrong about discipline. Because most people have been lied to about what discipline actually is. They've been told that discipline is about willpower. They've been told that disciplined people are just born with some special gene that the rest of us don't have. They've been told that discipline means never feeling tired, never feeling lazy, never wanting to quit. And that is the biggest lie ever told about personal growth. Because here's the truth. Disciplined people feel the exact same things you feel. They feel tired. They feel unmotivated. They feel like staying in bed. They feel like eating the junk food. They feel like skipping the workout. They feel like giving up. The difference is not that they don't feel those things. The difference is that they have made a decision that their feelings do not get to make their choices. You see, most people live their entire lives as slaves to their feelings. They wake up and ask themselves, how do I feel today? And if they feel good, they work. If they feel bad, they don't. If they feel motivated, they pursue their goals. If they don't feel motivated, they wait. They wait for motivation to come. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for the stars to align. And while they're waiting, life is passing them by. While they're waiting, other people are out there doing the work. While they're waiting, their dreams are dying a slow, quiet death. Discipline is the decision to move forward regardless of how you feel. It's the decision to honor your commitments to yourself, even when every cell in your body is screaming at you to stop. It's the decision to show up for yourself on the days when nobody else is watching. And that is love. That is the deepest, most powerful form of love you can give yourself. Because when you are disciplined, you are telling yourself you are worth the effort. You are worth the sacrifice. You are worth the discomfort. Think about it this way. If you had a child and that child had a dream, and you knew that the only way for that child to achieve that dream was to do certain things every day, would you let that child skip those things just because they didn't feel like it? Would you let that child eat whatever they wanted, sleep whenever they wanted, waste their time however they wanted, just because it made them comfortable in the moment? No. You wouldn't, because you love that child. You would push them. You would encourage them. You would hold them accountable. You would make them do the hard things because you know that the hard things are what will give them the life they deserve. So why won't you do that for yourself? Why are you so quick to be a parent to everyone else, but you abandon yourself? That's the question that should shake you to your core. Why are you so hard on yourself in your thoughts, but so soft on yourself in your actions? You criticize yourself constantly. You call yourself lazy. You call yourself a failure. You tell yourself you'll never amount to anything. But when it comes to actually doing something about it, you let yourself off the hook. You give yourself a pass. You say, I'll start tomorrow. You say, I deserve a break. You say, it's not that serious. And every time you say those things, you are choosing your temporary comfort over your permanent growth. You are choosing the version of you that exists right now over the version of you that could exist. If you really want to change your life, write I'm ready in the comments below. Not because I need you to, but because you need to declare it. You need to put it out there. You need to make it real. Because there is power in declaration. There is power in saying, I am done with the old way. I am done with the excuses. I am done with letting myself down. When you declare it, you create a contract with yourself. And that contract is the beginning of your new life. Now here's something else people get wrong. They think discipline is about being perfect. They think that if they mess up once, they've failed. They think that if they skip one day, the whole thing is ruined. And so what do? They quit. They go back to their old habits. They say, see, I knew I couldn't do it. And they use that one moment of weakness as proof that they are weak. But that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. Discipline is not about perfection. Discipline is about direction. It's about getting back up every single time you fall. It's about looking at your failure and saying, that's not who I am. That's not where I'm going. It's about refusing to let one bad day become a bad week. One bad week become a bad month. One bad month become a bad year. You have to understand that every single person who has ever achieved anything great in this modern world has failed. They have stumbled. They have had days where they didn't want to get out of bed. They have had moments where they questioned everything. The difference is that they didn't let those moments define them. They didn't let those moments stop them. They treated failure as feedback. They treated setbacks as setups for comebacks. And they kept going. Not because it was easy, but because they loved themselves enough to keep fighting for the life they knew they deserved. Let me go deeper with you on this, because I want you to really understand what's at stake here. When you lack discipline, you are not just missing out on goals. You are not just failing to achieve things. You are actively damaging your relationship with yourself. Every time you make a promise to yourself and break it, you are teaching yourself that you cannot be trusted. You are eroding your own self-respect. You are building a reputation with yourself that says, I don't keep my word. And when you don't trust yourself, when you don't respect yourself, everything in your life suffers. Your relationships suffer because you can't show up fully for others when you can't even show up for yourself. Your career suffers because you can't commit to excellence when you can't tenure and even commit to your own word. Your health suffers because you can't take care of your body when you don't believe you're right, taken care of. This is why discipline is self-love, because discipline is the act of rebuilding trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you were going to do, you are depositing trust into your own account. Every time you choose the hard right over the easy wrong, you are telling yourself, I am someone who can be counted on. And over time, that trust builds. That respect builds. And you start to walk differently. You start to talk differently. You start to carry yourself differently. Because you know something about yourself that nobody else needs to know. You know that you are a person of your word. You know that when you say you're going to do something, it's as good as done. And that kind of confidence, that kind of self-belief, that is something that no one can give you and no one can take away from you. It can only be earned, and it is earned through discipline. Pause for a second and ask yourself something. Do you really want this, or are you just saying you do? Do you really want to change, or are you just in love with the idea of changing? Because there is a massive difference between wanting something and being willing to do what it takes to get it. A lot of people want the body. They don't want the workouts. A lot of people want the business. They don't want the late nights and the early mornings and the uncertainty. A lot of people want the relationship. They don't want the vulnerability and the growth and the hard conversations. They want the result without the process. They want the destination without the journey. And that is why they stay stuck, because life doesn't work that way. You cannot have the harvest without planting the seeds. You cannot have the victory without the battle. You cannot have the transformation without the discipline. I want to tell you another story. I want to tell you about a man who was at the end of his rope. He had lost everything. His job, his relationship, his health. He was living in a place that he was ashamed to call home. He was eating whatever he could afford, which wasn't much. He was sleeping on a mattress that was more springs than padding. And every morning he would wake up and ask himself, is this all there is? Is this all I'm going to amount to? He had dreams once, big dreams. He wanted to build something. He wanted to be someone his family could be proud of. He wanted to look in the mirror and see a man who had kept his promises. But somewhere along the way, he had stopped believing in himself. He had stopped fighting. He had surrendered to the circumstances. One day, he was walking down the street and he passed a gym. He looked through the window and he saw people inside, working out, sweating, pushing themselves. And something stirred in him. Not motivation, not inspiration, something deeper, something like a memory of who he used to be. And he stood there for a long time, just watching, and then he made a decision. He didn't have money for a membership. He didn't have proper shoes. He didn't have workout clothes. But he decided that he was going to start running, right there, in whatever he was wearing. He started running. And he couldn't even make it one block. He was gasping for air. His chest was burning. His legs felt like they were going to give out. People were looking at him, and he felt embarrassed. He felt ashamed, but he kept going. He walked for a while, and then he ran again. And he made it a little further. Not much, but a little. The next day he went out again. Same thing. He could barely make it, but he went. And the day after that, and the day after that, every single day he went out and he ran. And slowly something started to change. Not just in his body, in his mind. He started to believe that he could do hard things. He started to believe that he was worth the effort. He started to see himself differently. And that belief started to spill over into other areas of his life. He started cleaning up his living space. He started eating a little better. He started looking for work with a new sense of determination. He started carrying himself with a quiet confidence that came from knowing he was showing up for himself every single day. That man didn't have a mentor. He didn't have a coach. He didn't have a support system. He didn't have money or resources or connections. All he had was a decision to stop abandoning himself, a decision to start showing up, a decision to be disciplined, not because it was easy, but because he finally understood that discipline was the only way back to himself. And that decision changed everything. Not overnight, not in a week, but over time, day by day, choice by choice, he rebuilt his life. He rebuilt himself. That could be you. That could be your story. But only if you make the decision. Only if you stop waiting for someone to come and save you. Only if you stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Only if you stop waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. Because motivation is not coming to save you. Inspiration is not going to knock on your door. The only thing that is going to change your life is you, your decision, your discipline, your willingness to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Let me break this down even further for you, because I want you to understand the mechanics of what's happening when you choose discipline. When you choose to do the hard thing, you are rewiring your brain. You are creating new neural pathways. You are training your mind to default to action instead of avoidance. And every time you make that choice, it gets a little easier. Not because the task itself gets easier, but because you get stronger. Your mental muscle grows. Your tolerance for discomfort increases. And what used to feel impossible starts to feel manageable. What used to feel unbearable starts to feel normal. That's the beauty of discipline. It compounds. Just like money in a bank account, just like interest on an investment, discipline compounds over time. The work you do today makes the work you do tomorrow a little easier. The discipline you practice this week makes next week a little smoother. And before you know it, you are a completely different person. But here's the catch. You have to start. You have to take that first step. And that first step is always the hardest. That first step is always the most uncomfortable. That first step is always the one where your mind will throw every excuse in the book at you. You're too tired. You can start tomorrow. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough money. You're not ready. Your mind will do everything in its power to keep you in your comfort zone. Because your mind is designed to protect you from discomfort. It doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your potential. It cares about keeping you safe. And safe, in your mind's definition, means staying exactly where you are. Even if where you are is making you miserable. So you have to override that. You have to become the leader of your own mind. You have to look at those excuses and say, I hear you, but we're doing this anyway. You have to acknowledge the fear and move forward with it. You have to feel the resistance and push through it. Because on the other side of that resistance is the person you were always meant to be. On the other side of that discomfort is the life you've been dreaming about. On the other side of that fear is your freedom. I need you to hear this next part. This is for the person who has tried before and failed. This is for the person who has started 100 times and quit 100 times. This is for the person who is sitting there right now thinking, I've heard all of this before. I've watched videos like this before. Nothing ever changes. I need you to listen to me very carefully. The fact that you've failed before does not mean you will fail again. The fact that you've quit before does not mean you are a quitter. The fact that you've fallen before does not mean you can't get back up. Your past attempts are not evidence of your inability. They are evidence of your desire. They are proof that there is something inside you that refuses to give up completely. Because if you had truly given up, you wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't be listening to this. You would have moved on. You would have accepted your life as it is. But you haven't. You're still here. You're still searching. You're still hoping. And that hope, that stubborn, persistent, irrational hope, that is your greatest asset. Don't you dare let your past failures convince you that your future is already written. Don't you dare let your past mistakes define who you are. You are not your failures. You are not your setbacks. You are not your bad habits. You are the person who is still standing. You are the person who is still breathing. You are the person who still has a chance to make it right. And as long as you have breath in your lungs, you have the power to change. You have the power to choose differently. You have the power to start again. Now I want to talk about something that a lot of people don't want to hear. I want to talk about the cost of indiscipline. Because we always talk about the cost of discipline. We talk about how hard it is. We talk about the sacrifice. We talk about the discomfort. But nobody talks about the cost of not being disciplined. Nobody talks about what happens when you choose comfort over and over and over again. Let me tell you what happens. You wake up 5 years from now in the exact same place. Same job you hate. Same body you're unhappy with. Same relationships that drain you. Same bank account that stresses you out. Same dreams that are gathering dust. Same excuses that you've been telling yourself for years. And the pain of that, the pain of looking back and realizing that you had the chance to change and you didn't take it, that pain is 1,000 times worse than the pain of discipline. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. And you are going to experience one of them. There is no escaping it. You are either going to feel the temporary discomfort of doing what you know you need to do, or you are going to feel the permanent agony of knowing you didn't. Those are your two options. There is no third option. There is no magical path where you get the results without the work. There is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is only the choice. And you have to make it. Every single day. You have to wake up and choose. You have to choose yourself. You have to choose your future. You have to choose the hard thing. And I know it's hard. I know it feels overwhelming. I know there are days when you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you just want to give up. I know there are nights when you lie in bed and wonder if any of this is even worth it. I know there are moments when you feel so alone in your journey that you think nobody understands. But I need you to know something. You are not alone. There are millions of people out there who are fighting the same battle. There are millions of people who are waking up every day and choosing to show up for themselves, even when it's hard. And you are one of them. You just haven't fully accepted that identity yet. You just haven't fully stepped into who you are. If you're still here, if you're still listening, I want you to do something for me. I want you to put your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the life that is flowing through you right now. That heartbeat is proof that you are still here. That heartbeat is proof that you still have time. That heartbeat is proof that your story is not over. And as long as that heart is beating, you have a responsibility to give everything you've got. You have a responsibility to honor the gift of life by living it fully, by pursuing your dreams with everything in you, by refusing to settle for less than what you were created for. Let me share something else with you that changed the way I think about discipline. I used to think that discipline was about forcing myself to do things I hated. I used to think it was about punishment. I used to think it was about being hard on myself. And that mindset kept me stuck for years. Because nobody wants to live a life of punishment. Nobody wants to wake up every day dreading what they have to do. But then I realized something. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to do things you hate. Discipline is about loving yourself enough to do the things that will give you the life you love. It's not punishment. It's preparation. You are preparing yourself for the life that is waiting for you. You are building the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And every brick you lay, every disciplined action you take is another step closer to that life. When you see it that way, discipline stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like a gift. It stops feeling like something you have to do and starts feeling like something you get to do. You get to wake up early. You get to work on your dreams. You get to take care of your body. You get to invest in your mind. You get to build something that matters. That's not punishment. That's privilege. That's power. That's self-love in its purest form. And I want you to think about the people who love you. Think about your family. Think about your friends. Think about the people who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. When you lack discipline, you are not just hurting yourself, you are hurting them. Because they see your potential. They see what you could be. They see the greatness that is inside you. And it breaks their hearts to watch you waste it. It breaks their hearts to watch you settle. It breaks their hearts to watch you give up on yourself. Your discipline is not just for you. It's for them too. It's for the people who are counting on you.
It's for the people who need you to be your best. It's for the people who are watching you and drawing inspiration from your journey, even if you don't know it. There's a concept that I want you to really sit with. It's the idea that you are either building yourself or you are betraying yourself. There is no neutral.
Every action you take, every choice you make, is either moving you closer to the person you want to be or further away. Every time you choose to scroll instead of work, you are betraying yourself. Every time you choose to sleep in instead of get up, you are betraying yourself. Every time you choose to eat garbage instead of fuel your body, you are betraying yourself. Every time you choose to gossip instead of grow, you are betraying yourself. And every time you choose to do the work, you are building yourself. Every time you choose to get up, you are building yourself. Every time you choose to feed your mind, you are building yourself. Every time you choose to stay focused, you are building yourself. You are always doing one or the other. Always. There is no in between. And once you become aware of that, once you start seeing every choice through that lens, everything changes. You start to become more intentional. You start to catch yourself in the moments where you're about to betray yourself. And you start to make different choices. Not because you're perfect, but because you're aware. And awareness is the first step to transformation. Let me tell you about the power of small decisions. Because a lot of people think that transformation happens in big, dramatic moments. They think it happens when you make some massive life change, when you quit your job, when you move to a new city, when you make some grand declaration. But that's not how it works. Transformation happens in the small moments. It happens when you choose water instead of soda. It happens when you choose to read instead of watch TV. It happens when you choose to go for a walk instead of sitting on the couch. It happens when you choose to speak kindly to yourself instead of criticizing yourself. These small decisions, these seemingly insignificant choices, they add up. They compound. And over time, they create a completely different life. Don't underestimate the power of showing up. Don't underestimate the power of doing the small things consistently. Because consistency is the secret that nobody wants to hear. Everyone wants the big breakthrough. Everyone wants the overnight success. Everyone wants the dramatic transformation. But the truth is, success is not dramatic. Success is boring. Success is doing the same things over and over and over again, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, until one day you look up and you realize that you've become someone completely different. That's what discipline does. It doesn't give you a dramatic moment. It gives you a dramatic life. I want to address something that I know is holding a lot of you back. It's the belief that you need to feel ready before you start. You're waiting to feel ready. You're waiting to feel confident. You're waiting to feel motivated. You're waiting to feel like you have it all figured out. And I'm here to tell you that you will never feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Confidence is not a prerequisite for action. Confidence is a result of action. You don't get confident and then start. You start and then you get confident. You don't feel ready and then begin. You begin and then you feel ready. You don't wait for the fear to go away and then move. You move and the fear goes with you until eventually it gets tired and falls behind. So stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for the perfect version of yourself to show up. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start with the messy, imperfect, scared, uncertain version of yourself that exists right now. Because that version of you is enough. That version of you is capable. That version of you has everything you need to take the first step. And the first step is all you need to worry about. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. And when you take that first step, something magical happens. You create momentum. And momentum is the most powerful force in personal growth. When you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. When you start doing, it becomes easier to keep doing. When you start winning small battles, it becomes easier to win bigger ones. That's why the first step is so important. Not because it's the biggest step, but because it creates the momentum that carries you through all the steps that come after. Let me tell you about a woman who understood this. She was a single mother working 2 jobs. She had 3 kids. She had no time. She had no money. She had no support. She was exhausted every single day. She was running on empty. And she had a dream of going back to school and getting her degree. But every time she thought about it, she would look at her reality and say, "It's impossible. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy." And she was right. By every logical measure, it was impossible. But she decided that she was going to do it anyway. Not all at once. Not in some dramatic way. She decided to study for 15 minutes a day. That's it! 15 minutes. While her kids were sleeping. While her food was cooking. While she was on her lunch break. 15 minutes. Some days she was so tired she could barely keep her eyes open. Some days she wanted to cry. Some days she wanted to give up. But she did her 15 minutes. Every single day. 15 minutes. And those 15 minutes turned into a class. And that class turned into a semester. And that semester turned into a year. And that year turned into a degree. She walked across that stage with her 3 kids in the audience. And she was crying, and they were crying, and everyone in that room felt the weight of what she had accomplished. Not because it was easy, but because it was hard. Because she had every reason to quit, and she didn't. Because she chose discipline over comfort, day after day after day. Because she loved herself enough to fight for her future. That's what I'm talking about. That's what discipline looks like in real life. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not something you can post on social media and get 1,000,000 likes. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's relentless. It's choosing yourself in the moments when nobody is watching. It's doing the work when nobody is clapping. It's showing up when nobody is cheering. And that is where true greatness is built. Not in the spotlight, in the shadows, not in the applause, in the silence. Not in the recognition, in the repetition. If you are serious about changing your life, I want you to understand that you are going to have to let go of some things. You are going to have to let go of the people who don't support your growth. You are going to have to let go of the habits that are keeping you stuck. You are going to have to let go of the mindset that says you're not good enough. You are going to have to let go of the comfort zone that has become your prison. And that is going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel like you're losing something. But you're not losing anything. You're making room. You're making room for the new. You're making room for the growth. You're making room for the person you are becoming. You cannot hold on to your old life and expect to build a new one. You cannot keep the same habits and expect different results. You cannot surround yourself with the same people and expect to grow. You cannot keep thinking the same thoughts and expect to feel differently. Something has to change, and that something is you. Not your circumstances, not your environment, not your luck. You, your choices, your discipline, your commitment to yourself. And I know that sounds like a lot of pressure. I know it feels heavy to think that everything depends on you.
But it's also the most liberating truth you will ever hear. Because if everything depends on you, that means you have the power. You are not a victim of your circumstances.
You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not defined by your failures. You are the architect of your future. You are the author of your story. You are the creator of your destiny. And that power is inside you right now. It has always been inside you. You just need to access it. And you access it through discipline. Let me talk to you about the relationship between discipline and freedom. Because most people think they are opposites. They think that discipline restricts freedom. They think that the more disciplined you are, the less free you become. But the opposite is true. Discipline creates freedom. When you are disciplined with your money, you have financial freedom. When you are disciplined with your health, you have physical freedom. When you are disciplined with your time, you have the freedom to spend it on what matters. When you are disciplined with your mind, you have emotional freedom. Discipline doesn't take away your freedom. It gives it to you. The person who has no discipline is not free. They are a slave to their impulses. They are a slave to their emotions. They are a slave to their cravings. They are a slave to their comfort zone. They think they're free because they can do whatever they want whenever they want. But they can't do what they need to do when they need to do it. And that is not freedom. That is bondage. True freedom is the ability to choose your actions based on your values, not your feelings. True freedom is the ability to say no to what you want now, so you can say yes to what you want most. True freedom is the ability to control yourself instead of being controlled by your desires. So when you feel like discipline is restricting you, I want you to reframe it. I want you to see it for what it really is. It's not a cage. It's a key. It's not holding you back. It's setting you free. It's not punishing you. It's preparing you. Every time you choose discipline, you are unlocking a door that leads to a freer, fuller, more abundant life. And the more doors you unlock, the more you realize that discipline was never the enemy. It was always the answer. Now I want to talk about something that might be controversial. I want to talk about the role of pain in your growth. Because a lot of people spend their entire lives running from pain. They avoid anything that is uncomfortable. They avoid anything that is difficult. They avoid anything that challenges them. And in doing so, they avoid the very thing that would make them grow. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Pain is the signal that you are pushing beyond your limits. Pain is the evidence that you are growing. Pain is the price of admission to a better life. When you feel the pain of discipline, when you feel the discomfort of doing something hard, I want you to welcome it. I want you to embrace it. I want you to see it as proof that you are moving in the right direction. Because comfort is where dreams go to die. Comfort is where potential goes to waste. Comfort is where greatness goes to sleep. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. You have to be willing to feel the burn. You have to be willing to sit in the fire and let it refine you. And I'm not talking about suffering for the sake of suffering. I'm not talking about being hard on yourself just to be hard on yourself. I'm talking about the productive discomfort that comes from pushing yourself toward something meaningful. I'm talking about the pain that comes from stretching beyond what you thought was possible. I'm talking about the discomfort that comes from becoming more than you were yesterday. That kind of pain is not something to avoid. It's something to chase. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of you that you haven't met yet. And that version of you is everything you've been dreaming of. Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you were disciplined for just 1 year? Just 1 year. Not 10 years, not 5 years, 1 year. If you woke up every day and did the things you know you need to do, if you ate right, if you exercised, if you worked on your goals, if you read, if you learned, if you grew, if you showed up for yourself every single day without exception, what would your life look like after 1 year of that? I'll tell you what it would look like. It would be unrecognizable. You would be unrecognizable. Your body would be different. Your mind would be different. Your bank account would be different. Your relationships would be different. Your confidence would be different. Your entire reality would be different. 1 year. That's all it takes. 1 year of consistent, relentless, unwavering discipline, and you would be a completely different person. So the question is not whether you can do it. The question is whether you want it badly enough. The question is whether you love yourself enough to commit to 1 year of showing up, 1 year of doing the work, 1 year of choosing yourself. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to give yourself that gift? I want you to think about this. Every day that passes without discipline is a day that you are stealing from your future self. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you are robbing the person you could become. You are taking away their opportunities. You are taking away their confidence. You are taking away their joy. You are taking away their peace. And that person, that future version of you, is counting on you. They are depending on the choices you make today. They are depending on the discipline you practice right now. Don't let them down. Don't steal from them. Give them everything you've got. And here's something that I think will really hit home for you. The people who inspire you, the people you look up to, the people who seem to have it all together, they are not special. They are not superhuman. They are not blessed with some gift that you don't have. They are simply people who decided to be disciplined. They decided to show up. They decided to do the work. They decided to love themselves enough to fight for their dreams. And you can do the same thing. You have the same capacity. You have the same potential. You have the same ability to choose. The only difference between you and them is the decision. And that decision is available to you right now. In this moment, you can make it. You can decide right here, right now, that you are done with the excuses. You are done with the procrastination. You are done with the self-sabotage. You are done with settling. And you are going to start showing up for yourself like your life depends on it. Because it does. Let me give you a perspective that might change the way you see your daily choices. Imagine that every choice you make is a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you choose discipline, you are casting a vote for your best self. Every time you choose comfort, you are casting a vote for your current self. And over time, the person you become is determined by which side gets the most votes. So every single day, you are in an election, and the candidate is you. The future you versus the current you. And every choice is a ballot. So how are you voting? Are you voting for the person you want to be? Or are you voting for the person you've always been? This is why every moment matters. This is why every choice matters. This is why you can't afford to be careless with your decisions. Because you are literally building yourself one choice at a time. You are either building a masterpiece or you are building a mess. And the building materials are your daily choices. So choose wisely. Choose intentionally. Choose with the awareness that every decision is shaping the person you are becoming. I want to share something personal with you. There was a time in my life when I was completely lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know where I was going. I was going through the motions. I was existing, but I wasn't living. I was breathing, but I wasn't alive. And I remember looking in the mirror one day and not recognizing the person staring back at me. That person looked tired. That person looked defeated. That person looked like they had given up. And I remember feeling this deep sadness, not because of anything that had happened to me, but because of what I was doing to myself. I was neglecting my potential. I was ignoring my gifts. I was betraying my purpose. And I knew it. I knew it in my bones. And that awareness, that painful, gut-wrenching awareness, was the beginning of my transformation. Because once I saw the truth, I couldn't unsee it. Once I acknowledged what I was doing to myself, I couldn't pretend anymore. I had to make a choice. I had to decide whether I was going to keep living the same way or whether I was going to do something about it. And I chose to do something about it. Not because I was strong, not because I had it all figured out, but because the pain of staying the same finally became greater than the pain of changing. And I started small. I started with one thing, one disciplined action every day. Just one. And I did it. Every single day. And then I added another. And then another. And slowly, over time, my life started to change. Not because I made some massive transformation overnight, but because I showed up, day after day, choice after choice. I kept choosing myself. I kept choosing growth. I kept choosing discipline. And that changed everything. So if you're sitting there right now feeling like you're too far gone, feeling like you've wasted too much time, feeling like you've made too many mistakes, I want you to hear me. It's not too late. It is never too late. As long as you have breath in your body, you have the opportunity to start again. You have the opportunity to make a different choice. You have the opportunity to begin building the life you were meant to live. And that opportunity is not coming tomorrow. It's not coming next week. It's not coming next year. It's here, right now, in this moment. What are you going to do with it? Let me talk about the enemy of discipline. The enemy of discipline is not laziness. It's not lack of motivation. It's not lack of willpower. The enemy of discipline is distraction. We live in a world that is designed to distract you. Your phone is designed to distract you. Social media is designed to distract you. Entertainment is designed to distract you. Everything around you is competing for your attention. And every moment of attention you give to distraction is a moment of attention you are stealing from your dreams. You have to become ruthless about protecting your focus. You have to become intentional about where you direct your energy. You have to become disciplined about what you allow into your mind. Because your mind is the most valuable real estate you own. And what you allow to occupy that space determines the quality of your life. If you fill your mind with garbage, you will produce garbage. If you fill your mind with greatness, you will produce greatness. It's that simple. So start guarding your mind. Start being selective about what you consume. Start being intentional about who you spend time with. Start being disciplined about what you allow to influence you. Because you become what you surround yourself with. You become what you consume. You become what you focus on. And if you want to become a disciplined person, you have to surround yourself with discipline. You have to consume content that reinforces discipline. You have to focus on the things that build discipline. And this includes the people in your life. I know this is hard to hear. But if the people around you are not supporting your growth, if they are constantly pulling you back into old habits, if they are mocking your discipline, if they are making you feel crazy for wanting more, then you need to reevaluate those relationships. You don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to be dramatic about it. But you do have to protect your energy. You do have to protect your focus. You do have to protect your growth. Because you cannot fly with eagles if you keep hanging around with pigeons. You cannot grow if you keep surrounding yourself with people who are committed to staying the Canada. I want to talk about the concept of identity and how it relates to discipline. Because this is something that most people miss. Most people try to change their behavior without changing their identity. They try to act disciplined without becoming a disciplined person. And that's why they fail. Because behavior follows identity. You don't do disciplined things and then become a disciplined person. You become a disciplined person and then you do disciplined things. It starts with identity. So instead of saying, I'm trying to be more disciplined, start saying, I am a disciplined person. Instead of saying, I'm trying to eat healthier, start saying, I am someone who takes care of my body. Instead of saying, I'm trying to work on my goals, start saying, I am someone who shows up for my dreams. When you change your identity, your behavior naturally follows. Because you start making choices that are consistent with who you believe you are. And I know that might feel fake at first. I know it might feel like you're lying to yourself. But you're not. You're not lying. You're declaring. You're speaking your future into existence. You are aligning your identity with the person you are becoming. And over time, as you make choices that are consistent with that identity, it stops feeling fake. It starts feeling real. It starts feeling natural. It starts feeling like you. So start today. Start declaring who you are. Start speaking your new identity into existence. Start making choices that are consistent with the person you want to become. And watch how quickly your life starts to change. Let me go even deeper with you. I want to talk about the relationship between discipline and self-worth, because this is where it all comes together. This is the foundation of everything I've been saying. When you lack discipline, it's usually because you don't believe you're worth the effort. You don't believe you deserve the better life. You don't believe you're capable of achieving your dreams. And so you self-sabotage. You procrastinate. You give up. You settle. Not because you're lazy, but because deep down, you don't believe you're worth fighting for. And that breaks my heart, because you are worth it. You are worth every ounce of effort. You are worth every drop of sweat. You are worth every moment of discomfort. You are worth every sacrifice. You are worth the early mornings and the late nights and the hard work and the dedication. You are worth it. And until you believe that, until you truly, deeply, unshakably believe that you are worth fighting for, you will continue to struggle with discipline. So the work is not just about building discipline. The work is about building your self-worth. The work is about convincing yourself that you deserve the life you're fighting for. The work is about healing the parts of you that believe you're not enough. The work is about silencing the voice that says you'll never make it. The work is about looking in the mirror and seeing someone who is worthy of greatness. And how do you build that self-worth? Through discipline. It's a beautiful cycle. When you are disciplined, you prove to yourself that you are worth the effort. And when you believe you are worth the effort, you become more disciplined. It feeds itself. It builds on itself. It grows stronger with every choice you make. And over time, you become someone who is both deeply disciplined and deeply confident in your own worth. And that combination of discipline and self-worth, that is unstoppable. If you're still with me, if you're still listening, I want you to know that I see you. I see the effort you're making just by being here. I see the hunger in you. I see the desire for something more. And I want you to know that that hunger is not an accident. That desire is not a mistake. That hunger is your purpose calling you. That desire is your potential reaching out to you. And you need to answer that call. You need to respond to that desire. You need to honor that hunger by feeding it with action. Don't ignore it. Don't suppress it. Don't try to numb it with distractions. That hunger is the most valuable thing you have. It's the compass that is pointing you toward your destiny. Follow it. Feed it. Fight for it. Because that hunger is the voice of your greatness. And your greatness is waiting for you to show up. Let me give you a practical way to think about this. I want you to imagine your life as a garden. Right now, your garden might be full of weeds. It might be overgrown. It might look like a mess. And that's okay. That's where a lot of people start. But here's the thing about gardens. They don't clean themselves up. They don't organize themselves. They don't plant themselves. Someone has to do the work. Someone has to pull the weeds. Someone has to plant the seeds. Someone has to water them. Someone has to tend to them every single day. And that someone is you. Your life is your garden. And discipline is the act of tending to it. Every day, you have to pull the weeds of negative thoughts. Every day, you have to plant the seeds of positive actions. Every day, you have to water your dreams with consistent effort. Every day, you have to protect your garden from the pests of distraction and doubt. And some days, it's going to feel like the weeds are growing faster than you can pull them. Some days, it's going to feel like nothing is growing. Some days, you're going to want to give up on the garden entirely. But you can't. You have to keep tending to it. Because eventually, the seeds will sprout. Eventually, the flowers will bloom. Eventually, the harvest will come. But only if you keep doing the work. And here's the beautiful thing about gardens. They don't bloom all at once. They bloom in their own time. Some seeds take longer than others. Some flowers need more sunlight. Some plants need more water. But they all bloom eventually if you keep tending to them. And your life is the same way. Your dreams will bloom in their own time. Your growth will happen in its own season. But it will happen if you keep showing up. if you keep being disciplined, if you keep tending to your garden. So don't compare your garden to someone else's. Don't look at someone else's harvest and feel like you're failing because your seeds haven't sprouted yet. Your season is coming. Your harvest is coming. Your bloom is coming. Just keep doing the work. Just keep being disciplined. Just keep tending to your garden and trust the process. Now, I want to talk about something that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to discipline. It's the all or nothing mindset. This is the belief that if you can't do everything perfectly, there's no point in doing anything at all. This is the mindset that says, if I can't work out for an hour, there's no point in working out at all. This is the mindset that says, if I can't eat perfectly clean, there's no point in eating healthy at all. This is the mindset that says, if I can't read a whole book, there's no point in reading at all. And this mindset is destroying more dreams than anything else. Because here's the truth. Something is always better than nothing. A 10-minute workout is better than no workout. A healthy meal is better than no healthy meals. A single page of reading is better than no reading. A single step forward is better than standing still. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do something. You don't have to be great. You just have to start. So let go of the all or nothing mindset. Let go of the perfectionism. Let go of the belief that if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. Because that belief is a lie. And it's keeping you stuck. Start where you are. Do what you can. And trust that every small action is moving you in the right direction. Let me bring this all together for you. I want you to understand that discipline is not a destination. It's not something you achieve and then you're done. It's a way of life. It's a daily practice. It's a commitment that you renew every single morning when you open your eyes. And some days it will be easy. Some days it will be hard. Some days you will feel like a champion. Some days you will feel like a failure. But the key is to keep going. The key is to keep choosing. The key is to keep showing up. Because here's what I know to be true. The person who keeps showing up, the person who keeps choosing discipline, the person who keeps fighting for themselves, that person always wins. Not always quickly, not always easily, but always. Because discipline is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are. If you are disciplined, if you are consistent, if you keep showing up, you will get to where you want to go. It is inevitable. It is guaranteed. It is the law of the universe. So I'm asking you today. I'm challenging you today. I'm calling you out today. Are you going to keep living the same way? Are you going to keep making the same excuses? Are you going to keep letting yourself down? Or are you going to make a decision? Are you going to draw a line in the sand? Are you going to say enough is enough? Are you going to finally start treating yourself like someone who matters? Are you going to finally start loving yourself enough to be disciplined? The choice is yours. It has always been yours, and it will always be yours. But I want you to know that every day you choose not to be disciplined is a day you are choosing against yourself. Every day you choose comfort over growth is a day you are choosing against your future. Every day you choose to give up is a day you are choosing against your potential. And you deserve better than that. You deserve a life that reflects your greatness. You deserve a life that honors your potential. You deserve a life that makes you proud. And that life is available to you right now. All you have to do is choose it. Before I give you your challenge, I want to say one more thing. I want you to know that you are not broken. You are not defective. You are not beyond repair. You are a human being who has been doing the best you can with the tools you've had. And now you have a new tool. You have a new understanding. You have a new perspective. And with that new understanding, you can start building differently. You can start choosing differently. You can start living differently. And that is enough. That is more than enough. That is everything. So here is your challenge. I'm giving you a 7-day challenge. And I want you to take this seriously. This is not just something to listen to and forget about. This is something to do. This is something to commit to.
This is your first step toward a new life.
For the next 7 days, I want you to do one thing. Every single morning, before you do anything else, before you check your phone, before you scroll through social media, before you turn on the TV, I want you to sit in silence for 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, I want you to ask yourself one question. What is one thing I can do today to show myself love through discipline? And then I want you to write down the answer. Just one thing. And then I want you to do it. That's your challenge. 5 minutes of silence. One question. One action. Every single day. For 7 days. It sounds simple. And it is simple. But simple does not mean easy. And simple does not mean insignificant. This small practice will start to shift something inside you. It will start to connect you to yourself. It will start to build the muscle of self-awareness and intentional action. It will start to prove to yourself that you can keep a promise. And that proof, that evidence that you are someone who follows through, that is the foundation of everything. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to commit to this challenge right now. I want you to write in the comments, I accept the challenge. And then I want you to come back after 7 days and comment, day 7 done. I want to see those comments. I want to know that you're serious. I want to know that you followed through. Because when you come back and write those words, you're not just telling me. You're telling yourself. You're proving to yourself that you are someone who keeps their word. And that proof will change your life. 7 days. That's all I'm asking. 7 days of 5 minutes. 7 days of one question. 7 days of one action. Can you do that? Can you give yourself 7 days? Can you love yourself enough to commit to 7 days? I believe you can. I believe in you. And I want you to start believing in yourself. As we come to the end of this message, I want to leave you with this. When your past does not define you, your failures do not define you, your mistakes do not define you, your setbacks do not define you. What defines you is what you do next. What defines you is the choice you make when you finish listening to this. What defines you is whether you get up and do something or whether you go back to the same old patterns. There is greatness inside you. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what anyone has told you. There is greatness inside you. It's been there since the day you were born. It's been there through every failure, every setback, every disappointment. It's been there, waiting for you to claim it, waiting for you to fight for it, waiting for you to believe in it. And the way you claim it, the way you fight for it, the way you believe in it, is through discipline. Through the daily, relentless, unwavering commitment to showing up for yourself. Through the choice to do what you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. Through the decision to love yourself enough to give yourself the life you deserve. Nothing changes until you decide to get serious. Nothing changes until you draw a line in the sand. Nothing changes until you say, I am done with the excuses. I am done with the procrastination. I am done with the self-sabotage. I am done with settling. I am done with living a life that is less than what I was created for. And when you make that decision, when you truly make it, not just say it, but make it in your heart, in your bones, in your soul, everything starts to shift. The universe starts to respond. Opportunities start to appear. Doors start to open. And you start to become the person you were always meant to be. So make the decision. Make it now. Make it today. Make it in this moment. Decide that you are going to be disciplined. Decide that you are going to love yourself enough to fight for your future. Decide that you are going to show up for yourself every single day. Decide that you are going to stop betraying yourself and start building yourself. Decide that this is the moment everything changes. You have everything you need. You have the power. You have the potential. You have the ability. You have the opportunity. The only thing missing is the decision. So decide. Decide right now.
And then get up and do something about it. Because your future self is watching. Your future self is waiting. Your future self is counting on you. Don't let them down. Don't let yourself down. Show up. Be disciplined. Love yourself enough to fight and watch what happens. If this message spoke to you, if it touched something inside you, if it stirred something in your spirit, then do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Not for me, for you, so you don't miss the next message that might be exactly what you need to hear. Share this video with someone who is hurting. Share it with someone who has given up. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that they are worth fighting for.
And when you're done, click on the next video on this channel. Because your journey doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. And the next step is waiting for you. You've got this. You've always had this. Now go prove it. Now let me keep going with you, because there is so much more I need to say. I need you to understand something about time. Time is the one thing you can never get back. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose a job and find another one. You can lose a relationship and find love again. But you cannot get back a single second of time. Once it's gone, forever. And every second you spend living without discipline is a second you are wasting. It's a second you are throwing away.
It's a second you are giving to something that doesn't matter instead of something that does. I want you to really feel the weight of that. I want you to sit with it. I want you to let it sink into your bones. Because when you truly understand the value of time, when you truly grasp that every moment is finite, that every breath is numbered, that every day is a gift that you will never receive again, you start to live differently. You start to choose differently. You start to prioritize differently. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop giving your energy to people who don't deserve it. You stop investing in activities that don't move you forward. You start being intentional. You start being focused.
You start being disciplined. Because discipline is really just the wise use of time. It's the decision to spend your most valuable resource on the things that matter most. It's the decision to invest your time in yourself, in your growth, in your future. And when you start seeing discipline through that lens, it stops feeling like a sacrifice and starts feeling like an investment. You're not giving something up. You're putting something in. You're depositing into your future. You're building equity in your own life. And the returns on that investment are extraordinary. The returns are a life that you are proud of. The returns are a body that you feel good in. The returns are a mind that is sharp and focused.
The returns are relationships that are deep and meaningful.
The returns are a bank account that gives you peace of mind. The returns are a sense of purpose that gets you out of bed every morning with fire in your belly. Those are the returns on discipline, and they are worth every ounce of effort. Let me tell you about something that happens when you become disciplined. Something that nobody warns you about. You start to lose friends. You start to lose people who were comfortable with the old you. People who liked you when you were lazy. People who enjoyed your company when you were going nowhere. People who felt superior to you when you were struggling. Those people start to fall away. And it hurts. It hurts because you cared about them.
It hurts because you shared memories with them. It hurts because you thought they were your people. But here's what you need to understand. When you grow, you outgrow. When you change, some people can't come with you. When you level up, some people can't reach you anymore. And that's not their fault. And it's not your fault. It's just the natural order of growth. Trees shed their leaves to make room for new growth. You have to shed the relationships that no longer serve your growth to make room for the people who will walk with you into your future. And I'm not saying you have to cut everyone off. I'm not saying you have to be cold or heartless. I'm saying you have to be intentional about who you allow into your inner circle.
I'm saying you have to protect your energy. I'm saying you have to surround yourself with people who are going somewhere. People who are growing. People who are disciplined. People who inspire you to be better.
because you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose those 5 people wisely. And if you can't find those people right now, that's okay. Be that person for yourself. Be your own inspiration. Be your own motivation. Be your own accountability. Because the most important relationship you will ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. And if that relationship is strong, if that relationship is built on discipline and self-respect and self-love, then you will be okay no matter who comes and goes. Let me talk to you about the mornings, because the morning is where the battle is won or lost. The morning is where you set the tone for the entire day, and how you start your morning determines how you live your day. If you start your morning by hitting snooze, by scrolling through your phone, by rushing around in a panic, you are setting yourself up for a day of reactivity. You are starting your day on someone else's terms. You are letting the world dictate your energy.
But if you start your morning with intention, with discipline, with purpose, you are setting yourself up for a day of power. You are starting your day on your terms. You are taking control of your energy. You are telling the world, I am in charge of my day. I am in charge of my life. I am in charge of my destiny. And that changes everything. So I want to challenge you to own your mornings. I want you to wake up with purpose. I want you to start your day with something that feeds your mind, your body, or your spirit. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be 5 minutes of silence. It can be 10 minutes of reading. It can be a short walk. It can be a few stretches. It can be writing down 3 things you're grateful for.
Whatever it is, do it before you do anything else. Do it before the world gets its hands on you. Do it before the noise starts. Do it before the distractions begin. Give the first moments of your day to yourself, because you deserve that. You deserve to start your day by honoring yourself. And when you do that, when you start your day by choosing yourself, you carry that energy with you throughout the day. You walk differently. You talk differently. You respond to challenges differently, because you've already won the first battle of the day. You've already proven to yourself that you are someone who shows up, and that proof gives you the confidence to face whatever comes next. Let me address something that I know is on your mind.
I know there are some of you who are thinking, this all sounds great, but you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I'm dealing with. You don't know how hard my life is. And you're right. I don't know the specifics of your situation. I don't know the details of your struggle. I don't know the weight you're carrying. But I do know this. Your situation does not have to be your destination. Your circumstances do not have to be your conclusion. Your starting point does not have to be your ending point. There are people who started with less than you and achieved more than you can imagine. There are people who faced obstacles bigger than yours and overcame them. There are people who had every reason to give up and didn't.
And they didn't do it because they had it easier. They did it because they were disciplined. They did it because they refused to let their circumstances define them. They did it because they loved themselves enough to fight for a better life. So don't use your situation as an excuse. Use it as fuel. Use it as motivation. Use it as the reason you fight harder. Let your struggle be the thing that makes you stronger. Let your pain be the thing that makes you more determined. Let your circumstances be the thing that makes you hungrier. Because hunger, real hunger, the kind that comes from knowing what it's like to have nothing, that is the most powerful force on the planet. And if you have that hunger, if you have that fire, then you have everything you need to succeed. I want to talk about the concept of delayed gratification, because this is at the heart of discipline. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist the temptation of an immediate reward in favor of a later, greater reward. It's the ability to say no to what you want now so you can have what you want most. And this is one of the most important skills you will ever develop, because we live in a world of instant gratification. We want everything now. We want the results now. We want the success now. We want the body now. We want the money now. We want the happiness now. And when we don't get it now, we give up. We quit.
We move on to the next thing. We chase the next shiny object. We look for the next shortcut.
And we never build anything that lasts. But the things that last, the things that matter, the things that truly change your life, they take time. They require patience. They demand persistence. They call for discipline. And if you can master the art of delayed gratification, if you can learn to be patient with the process while being relentless with the effort, you will achieve things that most people only dream of. So practice delayed gratification. When you want to check your phone, wait. When you want to eat the junk food, choose the healthy option. When you want to watch TV, read a book. When you want to sleep in, get up.
Every time you choose the later reward over the immediate pleasure, you are strengthening your discipline muscle. You are training yourself to be patient. You are building the capacity to wait for what matters. And that capacity will serve you for the rest of your life. Let me share another perspective with you. I want you to think about discipline as a form of respect. When you are disciplined, you are showing respect to yourself. You are showing respect to your body. You are showing respect to your mind. You are showing respect to your dreams. You are showing respect to your potential. And you are showing respect to the people who believe in you. Think about it. When you take care of your body, you are respecting the vessel that carries you through this life. When you feed your mind with knowledge, you are respecting the most powerful tool you have. When you work on your goals, you are respecting the dreams that were placed inside you for a reason. When you show up consistently, you are respecting the people who are counting on you. And when you lack discipline, you are showing disrespect. You are disrespecting yourself. You are disrespecting your body. You are disrespecting your mind. You are disrespecting your dreams. You are disrespecting your potential. And you are disrespecting the people who believe in you. So start seeing discipline through the lens of respect. Start seeing every disciplined action as an act of respect toward yourself and your future. And start seeing every undisciplined action as an act of disrespect. When you frame it that way, it becomes much harder to choose the easy path. Because nobody wants to disrespect themselves. Nobody wants to disrespect their dreams. Nobody wants to disrespect the people they love. I want to talk about the role of environment in discipline. Because your environment plays a massive role in your ability to be disciplined. If your environment is full of distractions, temptations, and negative influences, it's going to be much harder to be disciplined. If your environment is set up for success, if it supports your goals, if it reinforces your values,